I had to trust him to know that he was not bringing me all this way to do all these things. Just say, oh, no, not this time. I'm just going to forget it this time. You know, because that's what we like to do. We like to get in these places where, oh, we trust him so much, and then we're like, oh, I think I can do it on my own. Like, yeah, that doesn't work.
On October 22nd, 2010, I finally got willing and I admitted that I was an addict and alcoholic, and I checked into treatment. What was that like for you?
Good.
You're welcome. You told me that, and I didn't know this right away, but you shared later on when we were having one of our deep conversations that you felt very alone physically and emotionally, and that you were very angry at me, and that you considered leaving because you felt like your first wife cheated on you with men, but your second wife cheated on you with drugs.
Yes, very much so.
I know during that time, you started to get very, very close to my family because you guys decided, you made the brave decision to show up for me and participate in rehab.
Yeah. And they showed up for me. Because what you didn't know was my wife kept us separated. She didn't keep us together. She wanted to keep us divided because she didn't want us to get our story straight. So she kept the wedge there between myself and her family. Which I just thought, oh, they're just not, they're just crazy or whatever it is that she just wanted to tell me. And I was like, oh, what? Not realizing that, she's drug addict, she's funny, and I should probably went to them directly, but,
You described to me that during this time period, they went from being your in-laws to your parents.
Yes. Because at this time, my mom got sick. She had a major stroke. And my relationship with my dad was just a relationship. It wasn't close. It was him being my father. I had a relationship with my brother and my sister. But I didn't have the parents, the guiding parents that you need to help you deal with things and give you the right advice and for me to look at a marriage properly. Because neither one of my parents, I felt, gave me the right way to look at a marriage. It was a lot of turmoil, a lot of problems, and everybody has problems, but it was how they handled them and how they dealt with them and how they talked about them. Didn't happen with my life growing up. So I needed to have a good unity between a husband and a wife. I needed to see that, to understand it better. And that's what they gave me, was them being there for each other. Even when they got upset with each other, they didn't lash out. They talked about things and they handled things properly.
Okay, we're going to move it along because we're running out of time. Yeah. 6 months, around my 6 month sobriety date, you started not feeling well again and you were symptomatic.
Yeah.
And we learned that you had a third cancer, which was kidney cancer.
Yeah.
I remember the day that we found out, we were in the parking lot, it was raining, and we were crying, and I remember I was really scared.
Yeah.
I was newly sober, so I went from not feeling feelings for the better part of 8 years to feeling everything. And I remember looking at you, and I was terrified, and you weren't.
No.
Because you trusted God.
I trusted God. I went back to what he told me. Just trust me. I got it. I have this. It's under control. And when I do that, and I give it to him, I don't have worries or fears. And I didn't have worries or fears. I was just disappointed that I had to go through it again. But I was not afraid of what was going to happen. Not once did I fear that he was in control.
Were you worried about my sobriety?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because I trusted God.
Okay.
I trusted God. That's trusting God. That's giving it to him and saying, I trust you. And whatever she does it. but I trust God.
Okay, good to know. Our lives proceeded to get better each year I stayed sober, which I give all that credit to God, because I didn't do anything but decide to get honest. He did everything else. Gave me this willingness to surrender and the willingness to show up for my life. This last October, I celebrated being clean and sober for 5 years, and we got to move into a beautiful house over the summer, thanks to my brother Doug.
Yeah.
And things were sailing along. And first week of December, you weren't feeling great, and you discovered what?
A lump in my left breast.
That sucks. I can just tell you that we knew right away. That he said to me, "Feel this," and the minute I touched it, I knew, and I was just. We both used the same word. We were dumbfounded. Like, really? Really?
Really?
But what God put on your heart?
Not to worry. Trust Him. And I trusted Him. In fear, I wasn't worried. It did not cross my mind. Now, for somebody that's had cancer 3 times, you think, oh, wow, 4th time, we're not worried. I wasn't worried. I trusted Him 100%. Whether or not it didn't matter what the outcome was. Good, bad, didn't matter. I trusted Him.
I think the biggest thing for us is that with the first cancer, you had a dad that checked out, and you had siblings and a mom who were struggling to support you. The second cancer, you had a wife who was, elsewhere emotionally and physically. With the third cancer, you had a second wife that was just coming back from the brink of, death and drug addiction. But for this cancer, you're surrounded.
Yes.
God has surrounded you with family and friends.
Yes.
So this has been a very different experience for you this 4th time compared to the previous 3 times.
Yes, it was. Because when you trust God, all things to work for His glory. And whatever is bad will turn to good. My brother's a minister, and he went through all the things that he went through also. God has put him in a place to help people. To love people, and the people that don't want, the people don't want to help, He helps. I want to be in that same way. I want to be able to know that people can ask me a question, I can tell them, well, how are you this way? Because Christ has done it for me. He's done it for me my whole life. I just didn't always pay attention to it. But the older I've gotten, when I had that conversation with Him, and I understood what He was talking about, that everything else doesn't matter. I don't live in a third world country. I live here, get the ability to go to a doctor, get treatment, get the right health options, whether it's good, bad, or it doesn't matter. I'm not struggling for food, I'm not struggling for water. I get to wake up every day in a house that I can get up. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not always easy. But I don't have to walk 10 miles to get water. I don't have to worry about certain things in life. I just worry about trusting God, and that no matter what comes my way, it will be taken care of.
And we're just going to end with this. Because of all the cancers and the treatments, his body's been through so much. He has a heart condition called tachycardia. He has high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diverticulosis, fibromyalgia. He has sleep apnea. He has acid reflux. He has scoliosis, arthritis, And every day I wake up and I look over at him and he smiles at me. That's the power of God in his life. And like Matt said, it's a constant reminder to me to look to God, because he just seems to do it. It just comes from within him. I have to work a little harder at mine. But I have this amazing reminder every day that I have a choice to make. I can turn to God or I can turn away from God. And Mike's going through chemo right now, and he has the best attitude in the room. And that's in every room he's in. So I'll just say thank you for listening to his story. You can say
no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult anything is, trust God, be patient. You're not going to always get the answer that you want, but it's not always the answer that we want. It's the answer that God gives us. It may not be something that we want, but He knows what's best for us. And if we can trust and know that, knowing He knows what's best for us, and just let it go, we will all be better off. We will all be better off. Just trust Him. It can't get any simpler than that. Just ask Him, and He will answer.
So he's going to be cancer for a long time. Thank you for joining us today.